I'm Steve from AHDB. I want to talk about breeding decisions on dairy farms and in particular calves. Providing the right calf for the right market has been a focus for the dairy calf strategy for the last 3 years. There are many ways to produce beef, ranging from suckler systems to both extensive and intensive methods. As we question the areas that put pressure on the profitability of some of these systems, perhaps we should be shedding a light on some of the practices that make dairy bred beef profitable. I went to a British Grassland Society walk back in the summer. It was facilitated by LIC and AHDB. It was hosted by British Farming Awards nominee Graeme, and I've decided to go back to see him to share his story of taking low grading potential calves from spring block calving dairies and making the system efficient and profitable. Thanks for having me, Graeme. Can you tell me a little bit more about yourself and how you came to be farming calves up here?
Well, originally I've always worked part-time on dairy farms. I had a 50-acre council small holding and rented various plots of land. 7 years ago I was successful in getting the tenancy of Overbank Farm. So now I've got 130 hectares, mainly in a ring fence. Primarily, I buy 300 calves every spring from 2 spring block calving herds and take them through to finish at 24 to 30 months. 100% grass. I don't do any winter crops. I will do deferred grazing and big bale haylage.
Excellent. Okay, so obviously we don't have any calves here at the moment. Most of those are weaned. Well, they're all weaned, so we'll go out and see those shortly. But can you talk us through what the breeding of these calves is?
Well, the 2 herds I buy from got a lot of Jersey influence in the bloodlines of the dark milking cows, but they use Aberdeen Angus, Hereford, maybe a few blues for sweeping up. I also purchase a few black and whites amongst the calves. The main thing is it's a numbers game and get them all together in one bunch.
Excellent. So how old are they when they arrive here?
I purchase calves 7 to 14 days old. So they'll come here, they'll go straight into a bunch of 40, 42 calves in one of the pens. They breed on a 50-teat milk buggy, fed twice a day for 4 weeks, 2 weeks on once a day, 2 weeks weaned, and then they're out onto grass and a kilo of concentrates.
Fantastic. So you've talked us through what your processes are when you get them here. What are your targets in terms of growth rates for pre-weaning calves?
Well, do as much as you can, but I find it's 0.5 to 0.7 kilos a day whilst they're on milk. Bearing in mind these calves are only 30 odd kilos when they come.
That's a big ask. Yeah, no, I totally understand.
Yeah, I've tried pushing them hard, and little calves, they just need a bit more time. That's all.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, okay. Well, can we go and have a look at them?
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and see them. We're now in the calf paddock. These are your weaned calves, are they?
They're all in one bunch, 295 of them.
Okay, what's your management here then? How do you manage these calves?
Kilo a day with the snacker of concentrates, and they are rotationally block grazed. This is the biggest paddock. We've been on here for 5 or 6 days, but the others are 2, 3, 4 day paddocks and come back every 25 days approximately.
I see. So in terms of covers, what are they coming in on and what are you taking them out on?
They're probably coming in at 2.5, 2.7 to 2.7.
Right.
And they'll be going out on, I would say 1,800.
1,800?
Yeah.
So are they cleaning up or are you finding you?
I'm happy with the cleaning up. I don't want to push the calves that hard. They've got to graze down to 1,500. I'll leave that for the bigger cattle.
So how old are these calves when they come out onto grass?
They'll be approximately 10 weeks old, obviously 7 to 14 days old when I purchase them, then I'll have them in the sheds for 8 weeks.
In terms of roughage, is it just grass or are they getting fed straw as well?
It's grass, a kilo concentrates, and I do put a round bale in a ring feeder for the first month. They'll always have a choice of currently eating straw.
And they're interested in that?
They don't eat much of it,
No.
but the option is there.
So that's fantastic, Graeme. So what growth rates are you expecting really at this stage? Are you expecting an up in the growth rate?
I would hope so, yes. It's been tough on this spring because of all the wet weather, but I would hope they'll be doing around 0.8 kilos a day, yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, in terms of dry matter, how much dry matter are you growing here?
14 to 15 tonne on the whole farm for a 12-month period. I like to start grazing 3rd week of February. I start taking cattle off grass on around the 1st of November. Some will be the 10th or 15th of November before the last lot come off grass.
And they're out here in the spring at what sort of time?
Mid-Feb, the first lot. I try and I've got some clamp silage and I try and make that last till the 1st of March.
Tremendous. Excellent. Okay, well, should we go and have a look at these older cattle?
Yeah.
So we're in one of the grower paddocks. So how old are these cattle in here, Graeme?
These cattle are just over 12 months old. They're all heifers in this bunch.
Right.
And they're on this time of year. I'll move them every 2 to 3 days.
Right. Okay. And do you split the heifers and steers at this age usually, or?
At 12 months old, when they are just about R1s, they'll be split into 2 mobs, heifers and bullocks. First 2 grazing rounds are daily moves religiously.
So they're daily moves, and then you're going to 2 day breaks.
2 to 3 day breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tend to split the field in half. The water troughs have been positioned in the middle of the field, so that very easy to get water to them. Just split the field in half, and then just move the reel so the water trough's always in the paddock where they've got where they're grazing.
I see. So, and in terms of your reseeding, what's your policy there?
Reseed, if any any fields need any help, I will direct drill grass seed into the ley. The only actual reseeding to do is this is a field that will get reseeded next spring, as you can see the bales behind us are for outwintering, and I'll outwinter with the R2 bullocks on this field with deferred grazing and big bales.
So you can outwinter here, then you'll do a bit of a reseed. And is spring reseed always your favoured?
I prefer an autumn reseed, but if you've been out wintering, it's got to be a spring reseed.
Of course. So what about your muck management, muck and slurry?
Muck and slurry. Slurry tends to get spread after first cut, silage, and farmyard manure will get done after the first grazing round. So I'd like to try and get that on early March. And I do 1/3 of the farm. I've got enough muck and slurry to cover 1/3 of the farm every year.
Excellent. So that won't see cattle for another 21 days or 28 days?
It'll be longer than that on the first grazing round.
Of course.
It could be 40, 50 days.
Right.
Yeah, after the second grazing round, we'll be down to 23 to 21 days.
Right, I see. Excellent. Okay, let's go and have a look at some of the bigger animals, shall we?
We can do that. They're in the next field.
Okay.
Only one strand of electric keeping them apart.
We'll
I got a plug for the electric fencing if you want a plug for the electric fencing.
So Graeme, what a lovely bunch of animals these are. A lot of people will notice that they aren't necessarily as shapely as some of the suckler animals that you can get. What types of grades and weights would you expect to get from cattle like this?
Well, obviously there's quite a lot of Jersey influence in these cattle because the dams are grazing cows. The grades, predominantly O+. O+4L is my most common grade.
Right. And weights?
Weights, heifers 270 to 300 kilos dead, steers 300 to 340 dead, probably steers average 325 kilos dead weight. Everything goes dead weight, don't sell anything live.
Excellent. And in terms of concentrate, what are they getting in their lifetime?
In the lifetime, as calves and just at finishing would be maximum about 450 kilos of concentrates per animal.
Right. And in terms of heifers and at finishing, heifers versus steers?
Heifers definitely take less concentrates to finish. On the 1st of June, I'll start giving the bullocks 2 kilos of concentrates through a snacker. The heifers get a kilo. Heifers will always be a kilo behind the bullocks. And on the 1st of every month, I increase it a kilo to a maximum of 5 kilos.
Right.
Obviously, the numbers are going down, and I want them all gone by the 31st of October.
Okay. So can we talk money for a moment?
Can.
Okay. So what sort of margin would you expect to get from these animals?
This year, I'm on a gross margin of £700 a head.
Okay. And how does that differ from any other year?
Apart from last year, which is an exceptional year with a high cost of fertiliser, fuel and feed, it's gradually gross margins creeping up year on year.
Okay.
2 years ago, it's £560. I think 3 years ago, it's £520.
And what's the fate of meat that comes from these animals?
I supply, up until this year, I supplied 100%. All my cattle went to Dumbia, direct to slaughter. The Angus went on the Angus scheme, the Hereford on the Hereford scheme, and the rest were commercials. This year, I found a niche market. They had 96 animals off me, paying a substantial premium, and they want beef from the dairy herd, grass-fed.
Okay, so the obvious challenge is there sufficient margin in there without that premium?
I was doing it adequately before. I was quite happy with my margins before I found this niche market. The niche market is the icing on the cake.
A lot of people will be watching this thinking, well, you're making good margin, you've got a system that works for you. What about buying more expensive calves, perhaps continentals, trying to go for more margin, at least more money? What would you say to that?
These are animals, are grazing animals who come out of grazing dams. To go into continentals and the more expensive cattle, obviously the calf price is a lot more and the finished price is more. I suspect the margin is less because the continentals tend to take a lot more finishing.
Yeah, I see.
These are very good at finishing off grass. Quite a few of them don't get any concentrates to finish because if they've gone in April, May or early June, they will not have seen any concentrates.
So what would you say is the secret to success of this system?
Definitely simplicity, good pasture management, and I've got a good relationship with my calf suppliers and the processors.
Well, one thing we've not spoken about is labour. Now, how many cattle have you got here in all?
At the end of April, I'll get up to about just short of 900 cattle.
Right.
Dropping them back to 600 by the 31st of October. So obviously a lot less on in winter. I'm a one-man unit. I feed the cattle not 365 days a year because I will have about 28 days off farm and holidays. My holidays is June to December. I will not go away when rearing the calves. I am focused 100% on calf rearing.
Excellent. So it's just you here with some casual labour?
I have a bit of casual labour, especially I've done a lot of stewardship work, the fencing and the two-man jobs. That's the only reason I have a bit of casual labour.
Excellent. Right, Graeme, it's been fantastic. Thank you so much for showing us around your farm, and we wish you all the very well for the future.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming, and I'm pleased to show you around and hope people can pick some tips up, and very welcome to contact me anytime.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Now, I often hear how calf rearers avoid calves from small-framed breeds on the assumption that it isn't economically feasible to rear them to finish. I think Graeme has proved that not only can this be profitable, but there are also further advantages around labour and cash flow. Now, Graeme's done this by capitalising on his ability to grow large amounts of his cheapest form of energy and protein, grazed grass. And not only this, the calves themselves spread their own manure, saving extra costs. By analysing input costs and modelling margins based on 5-year rolling beef prices, Graeme has built the resilient business that you've seen today. If you want to know more about how to grow more grass, rotationally graze, analyse beef prices, or forward plan your business, You can find more resources on the AHDB website, or you can get in touch with one of us, your knowledge exchange team. Alternatively, to find out more about the strategy itself, simply Google GB Dairy Calf Strategy. We'll see you next time.